Hello everyone, my name is David Stanard. I'm the in-school coordinator for special education at Arnco Sargent Elementary School, which is an pre-K through 5th elementary school in Coweta County, Georgia. Today we are here to go over the data overview of 3rd grade ELA Georgia Milestones data. And the purpose of this presentation is to review the demographic changes at Arnco Sargent over the past 4 years. Review the state assessment scores in ELA in comparison to the district and state for the past 4 years. Continue the data analysis to identify possible trends and problem areas, and to identify strengths and weaknesses in the data. Questions to consider during this presentation are: what are the current strengths in 3rd grade ELA? What seems to be the most areas in need of improvement in 3rd grade ELA? What can we do as a team to improve upon these areas of need? How do we address the socioeconomic factors facing our school? Teacher demographics. There are 33 teachers at Arnco Sargent, and the years of experience, most of the teachers, as you can see, have 11 to 20 years of experience. There's 15 there, and 13 are 1 to 10, and there's 4 that have 21 to 30, and 1 that has less than a year. And as race and ethnicity, we have 1 black teacher and 32 white teachers. And as far as gender, we have 2 male teachers and 31 female teachers. So we have a predominantly white female teacher population. The average annual salary for administrators at Arnco Sargent is $86,048. For the teachers is $52,747, and for the support personnel, $53,689. And as far as the teacher certification, the certificate level, the majority is bachelor's level, 17, with 10 at the master's level, 5 at the specialist level, and 1 at the doctoral level. The student enrollment, the total enrollment for Arnco Sargent over the 4-year period, 2012-2013, started at 429, rose to 496 in 2013 and 14. Then has steadily declined, so we're back down to 427 during the 2015-2016 school year. The student enrollment by gender, there are predominantly there are more male students over the 4-year period. Continues to be more males than females, and that pretty much stays, except for in 13 and 14 and 14 and 15 looks like the gap got a little bit wider here, but we're back down to kind of about the same as we were in 2012-13. As far as the student enrollment and students with disabilities, the total enrollment of students with disabilities at 2012 and 13 was 52. Then it jumped with the student population, went to 63, but then the student population went down slightly here. And as you can see, the population of students with disabilities actually grew a little there just by 1 student. But considering that the drop in population, it actually grew a little there, but then it dropped down back to 51, which is before, less than 4 years ago. But we are at 51 right at 2015-16. As far as students who are economically disadvantaged, as you can see, we have steadily pretty much stayed with the population trend. As again, it went up in 2013-14 and has gone steadily down as with the student population. But if you look at the percentages, it stayed right around 70% of students who are economically disadvantaged at Arnco Sargent. The student ethnicity breakdown, we have 70% white students, and then we have 1% Asian Pacific Islander, 13% Black, 11% Hispanic, and 5% identify as multiracial. But this is for the 2015-16 school year. If we look at student attendance, we have students that have missed 6 or more days. In 2012, there was 169. 2013-14, 175, 2014-15, 176, and 2015-16, there's 163. So it kind of goes with the population trend as well as a student that had missed 6 to 15 days. Now, students that were absent more than 6 days or 6 or more days. This is a combination of the 6 to 15 range and the 15 and more range. If you look at 2012 and 13, there was 50%, then 13, 14 went to 45, and then 14, 15 to 52, and then back down to 48. But on average, 49% of students have missed 6 or more days at Army Corps Sergeant. So there was a high absenteeism. And if you break that down by race and ethnicity, as you see the black students, Hispanic, multiracial, and white, the black students have 53% in 2012, but then it went down 13, 14, and then it went slightly back up and then back down. As far as the Hispanic students, it stayed right around 47, 48%, and the multiracial students was high in 2012 and 13, but has gone steadily down every year. And then the white students have it went down 2013, 14, and then back up, and it's pretty much around 53% in 2015 and 16. Student attendance by socioeconomic status. If you want to look here, the students that have missed 6 or more days that are socioeconomically disadvantaged in 2012 was 150. It went up to 178, 186, and then back down to 153, which also follows that population trend as well. But it's still a high number of students that are economically disadvantaged that have missed 6 or more days. Georgia milestones and end of grade test, end of grade test online, and the grades 3 through 5 criterion reference competency tests. The Georgia milestones consist of multiple choice questions, constructed responses. It has norm reference questions to complement the criterion referenced information to provide a national comparison. There's a writing component at every grade level. And the CRCT was retired in 2013-14. It was a criterion reference test, was administered in grades 1 through 8. I included both of these because to review 4 years of data, you have to do both, since this one was retired in 13-14 and the Georgia milestones didn't start to the 14-15 school year. If you look at students in 3rd grade that do not meet the CRCT or are at the beginning learners in the Georgia milestones, which is the 2 lowest categories that you could possibly score in ELA. If you look right here, is in 2012-13, Army Corps Sergeant had a lot more does not meet than the state and the county. Then it kind of in 2013 and 14, it kind of met, it did better, we did better than the county, and then was about the same as the state. I'm sorry, backwards. I said that backwards. We were actually less than the state and the same as the county. But then as it came up through here, ARCO has more students that do not meet than in the county or the state. And then the same as 2015-16 with 36%, whereas the state has 32% and the county had 29%. And then as far as the 2015 and 16 school year, the Army Corps Sergeant's 3rd grade ELA, this is the comparison of beginning learners, developing learners, proficient learners, and distinguished learners. As you see, the beginning learners, Army Corps Sergeant has way more, that is at the lowest range, than the state and the county. We have way more developing learners, which is in the 2 range. And then the proficient learners, we have way less, and distinguished learners, we have way less. So we have a big gap that is apparent between the state and the county as far as our scores for ELA 3rd grade. Now, if we break this down by race and ethnicity, we can see that the beginning learners for white students is higher than the Hispanic group. The developing learners is for white students actually lower than the Hispanic group, but then proficient, the white students was higher, 18 but then once they distinguished, the Hispanic was higher. So there's a little bit of a kind of a back and forth fluctuation, but there were not enough black students for a subgroup in 3rd grade in 2015-16. That's why they're not included in this graph. For performance of third grade ELA students by socioeconomic status, as you can see, the economically disadvantaged were 50, and then the non-economically disadvantaged were 22. And if you look at the beginning learners, the economically disadvantaged, this is the lowest level, they were higher, and in the developing they were higher. Then we get to proficient, and they take a drop or a lower, kind of lower than the non-academically disadvantaged, but then once again down here they had higher. So there's a little flip-flop there, but as you can see, they're at the proficiency level that the economically disadvantaged students were a lot lower. Now, the students with disability scores on the Georgia Milestones ELA, as you see, the students with disabilities at the beginning level, they're 90%. 90% of the students that took the Georgia Milestones scored in the beginner range. There were 10 of those students. And then in the developing, there were only 10%. And then, of course, in proficient distinguished, there were 0%. The mastery domains by school, county, and state for third grade ELA. This was the reading and vocabulary domain. And as you can see, at the remediate, monitor, and accelerate level, remediate, of course, being the lowest level, Marco Sargent was way above the county and state. And on the monitor level, we were above the county and state as well. But that's being, when I say above, that's not, we were actually, I should say behind, really. Because the accelerator, we need to have this one and this one a lot bigger. Same with writing and language, as you can see, ARCO, we have the wrong color that's bigger. And we need to, kind of bring those two down. But but that's for writing and language and reading the vocabulary. So you can see that there is a clearly an issue as far as we are behind both the county and the state in both of those. All right, the school strengths. There's not a significant gap in the third grade ELA between the white and Hispanic students, so that's a positive. The attendance is improving over the 4-year period, even though it is still at a high level. It is showing slight improvement. And actually, Arnco Sargent has a 5-star school climate rating because our students love to come to school and they do feel safe. Areas in need of improvement for our school, of course, is attendance, especially the socioeconomic students. Getting them to school, we have to figure that out. We have to move more students from that beginning learner and developing learner to proficient and distinguished learner on the Georgia Milestones. And all the domains of ELA need to be addressed to close the gaps between the county and the state. And the final slide are questions to consider after seeing the data is, have we considered how our socioeconomic situation affects our view of our students and their situation? Have we considered our race and gender and how it affects our view of our students? And how can we improve the attendance at our school? And how can we, if we do some of those things, perhaps we can raise some of those scores. Well, I thank you for coming to this presentation, and thanks a lot. That's it.